Good evening, everybody. It's Randy Alarski here. I've got Hexastani Dylan here tonight. We're going to be talking about PHUX, the Phux, no Phux Given. Buck will be joining us shortly. Hopefully, if he doesn't, then no problem.
So be it. That's right.
So be it. First, I want to thank you for coming back again. There was some big news. I think it was today, or maybe it was last night. You guys did a nice fat airdrop to all of us again.
That's right. Earlier this morning, about I'd say 12 hours ago, so 10 o'clock this morning, Eastern time.
Okay. So what was this airdrop for? No one knows what these are for. What was this one for?
Yeah, so this one was a mix of a couple protocols. Let me get the exact stuff here for you so I don't miss anything. Let's see here.
It's very interesting because I didn't get the first one, and I was wondering why, but I don't care. Just probably because my balance had changed. I had moved stuff in different wallets, and same thing happened with my Patreon group. A lot of like, well, why did I get the airdrop? Well, I had told everybody that on day one, move the majority, or if not all of your Pulse Chain and your PulseX to a new wallet.
Roger that, which I mean is a good security practice, right?
Right. So all of us didn't get it. It was like, oops. Yeah. Sorry, guys, you missed out on a few bucks.
So if you sacrifice for fame early bird round, you got some. You were able to claim some PHUX. It had less than 2,000 addresses in that pool, and it gave 1.5% of the PHUX, which is pretty cool. Then there was some given to PLSX guys, less than 34,000 addresses, sharing 50 million Phux. If you missed round one, so hopefully that was including the guys that had moved their address around, right? Power City guys, if you guys sacked for Power City, you got some PHUX this round. If you sacked for Liquid Loans, you also got some PHUX this round. And if you sacrifice for Pulse Pot, you also got a little bit of PHUX this round as well.
Interesting. So I better check other wallets too. Then I just checked my main Pulse Chain PulseX wallet, which I also use for sacrifice for Fiat and Famous. But some of the other things I did in different wallets, so I better go check.
Yep. Yeah. And if you guys did pools, sorry, but you're on your own there. We didn't. Pools didn't get very much.
We just learned the downside to pools. There you go.
Exactly. Yes, you don't get airdrops.
Surprise. But the pool guys do. Whoever put together the pool sure did.
That's true. Yeah. Some of them weren't counted. The ones that were aware, like they just, they got like, kind of leveled it out versus everybody else. But the ones that we didn't know, it is what it is. The pools are what the pools are. They just look like a big sacrifice or whatever. So,
very good. So there's a lot of things there. You guys, rewind if you need to hear it all. But I've got the link down below where you can check. It's at fatty.io, mint /mint, right? Yeah, that's what it is.
Yep, I believe so. If you just pull up Fatty, right? You connect your wallet. You go to your portfolio page.
And connect wallet on Fatty is actually sign in.
Correct. Yes.
That's a confusion.
It's a little, like purple color little sign in thing with a little, kind of little wallet icon. You click on that and make sure you don't sign in with your email, obviously. Okay. You got to use your wallet that you sacrificed or had any sort of eligibility for this airdrop, right? You sign into that, and then you go over to Mint on the My Portfolios tab. It's pretty straightforward, right? And if that's not working for you, that's fine. You can go to Pulse Scan, and you can mint it directly via the contract, okay?
Oh, nice.
And if you still think that something is awry, you can go to the read part of the contract and go to section number 9 and paste your address and then press query. And if it spits out something other than 0, you are eligible, right? And then you can go claim on the right portion of the contract.
It's a lot of work you guys are doing in the back end for all these airdrops and stuff. I mean, this isn't easy work.
Yeah, Bucket said, and it's pretty true. It's kind of hard to give away free money. It's kind of hard.
Man, you gotta. There's a lot of shit you guys gotta do, and
Yeah.
breaking down lists and stuff, and yeah, like I could see where it could be a pain in the butt. Like the first round, think about it. You guys had to go look for Pulse Chain and PulseX. Only the addresses still had their coins in their wallets. You excluded the ones who had moved their coins, and oops, it's like, oh man, it's all good though. Black Label Expat says, "How long were you waiting to use this title? Be honest." I said, no fucks given."
That's funny.
Yeah, there actually was though quite a lot today. I think one wallet got close to like 8,000. I know it's not, in USD value, it's not a ton of money, but I bet my other wallets got a decent amount as well. So I did. One thing I do want to say is that I I did sacrifice more for your second chance or for the fame.
Yeah.
I already did it the first time. I was, I think, a first day sacrificer there, and I actually put in more. I think that what you guys are doing with the GMX protocol being used on Pulse Chain is going to be pretty outstanding. So I say, you know what? Maybe these guys they're building up a nice track record. So maybe I should be putting more money where my mouth is.
There you go. I hear that. Yeah, I think fame, it might be the golden goose, perhaps. But obviously, I'm a little conflicted, right? But just from a standpoint of it being a margin trading DEX, it having very very good success on Arbitrum, which is not a layer one,
And not even that well used. I mean, it's pretty low key arbitrary.
Yeah, yes. That being said, with it being we're kind of cornering the market on Pulse Chain via lending, right? With Fiat. Okay. Now we have a DEX with some great, little bells and whistles, like the stable swap pool, which the chain desperately needs, and eight pools of liquidity with more than 8 tokens, right? That brings alive the maxi perps, the Hedron and Icosa stuff, all of those things. And even outside of our scope, we had the Richards Bridge, which is completely, decentralized in the fact that there's no person that can say what is allowed to come on the bridge or off the bridge, right? You can have whatever you want go through the bridge and it spits it out on the other side. And you can actually bridge over everything, you know what I mean? Which is pretty powerful, man. We the PH team, we didn't know that this would be a feature on the chain, right? It was kind of like up in the air at the moment on testnet, because all we had at the time, if I'm not mistaken, was you had the wrapped Ethereum and then DAI, and that was pretty much it, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I was using the WEF the whole time. That's the one I chose.
Yeah, and we didn't know the full extent of what you could do with that bridge, anyways. So pleasantly surprised with that. And now look at what we got on PHUX, right? We're at $17 million of TVL, and we just crossed over $10 million of volume in total, which is pretty cool. So
the other day you guys came on, I think it was Happy Hour with Cabana.
Yep.
And while you guys were talking, look, I'm very clear about it. I don't do good with live streams when there's like more than like 4 people. I was one of those kids, I was always taught, I'm from a freaking mafia Italian family type. My mom will tell you the people I grew up with. So, kids don't speak at the table type thing, when there's other adults are speaking, and I still, I can't interject, but I have difficulty interjecting. But while you guys were doing that, while you guys were having your conversation, I was back there. I was sacking for fame. I was doing my pool with the RH Maxi pool over PHUX. I'm like, oh shit, this is cool. And you guys are all having a conversation, and I'm like setting everything up, and I'm like, guys, I just did it all while you're talking. So yeah, it's not that hard. I found PHUX was there was an extra step in there that I wasn't used to. I can't remember what it was. It took me a second to figure it out. But once I figured it out, I was like, it all went through. And that's why I asked the question early on in the show about, can you just now we're talking about the pools, which is kind of like if you guys wanted to go if you were investing and you did a spider or in traditional markets or a mutual fund where it puts your money into one fund, but it's actually diversifying across a whole bunch of assets.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what PHUX is doing with their pools. So I asked you guys if I could just put 2 tokens in instead of the 5 in the RX Maxi pool, what will happen? And you said that it would automatically go out and buy the tokens to fulfill the need of the 20% for PHEX, 20% for EHEX, 10% for incentive token, and the Pulse and Pulse X. And dude, it did it all within seconds. It was really cool. I have to admit.
Yeah. And, it's a wonderful thing, right? Yeah. So like Randy was saying, if you guys only have one of these tokens, right, you don't want to deal with diversifying beforehand, and it's in one of the more liquid pools, when you're going in with only one pair of this liquidity pool, it'll tell you how much slippage you incur, right? So if you're coming in like as a normal average user, you're gonna, I don't know, maybe half a percent of slippage or something like this. It's not like, astronomically high unless you're in a very liquid pool, right?
I think for me it was like 2% or something because it was 5 figures, so it came in at 2%.
Okay, yeah, and that was at the time when I bet the Maximus perp pool was nearing the 5-figure APY kind of shit going on. So it was really illiquid at the time, So, but yeah, that pool has grown double since then, if I'm not mistaken. It's at 730,000 TVL at the moment, which is pretty impressive for the maxi perps. We were saying on the Cabana stream that it was, I think, the most liquid it's ever been across all those pairs. And then now it's obviously double that. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, people are going to like that for sure.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, I haven't really looked into this all that much, but I would go out on a limb and say that it now has a more refined curve to it, right? Where maybe the base token has a much closer representation of the value underlying in the actual stake. And then you have the trio where it's worth a little bit more than the base. And then you probably have the lucky worth a little bit more than the trio. And then you have the Desi worth a little bit more than the lucky, right? Mm-hmm. And then probably, the maxi is worth
most.
Yeah, exactly. So, wow. But I haven't checked that myself, but if anybody wants to check that, it probably looks a lot more refined now than it has been in a while. I would imagine so.
Yeah, the problem I have with the Maximus DAO tokens is that there's just so many. It's like too many things to look at. I like simplicity, the whole KISS method, keep it simple, stupid type thing.
Yeah.
And it seems to work, but you guys just made it really easy.
Yeah, what's good now is if you want a ladder, buy the Tanto, the Maximus perps pool, right? You just click buy on that, and then
that makes so much sense.
Now you have a staking ladder, just like that. Bam.
So what happens when the first one comes out?
That's a great question. I think somebody asked that the other day, and if I understand it correctly, which I am not technically inclined with the base stuff, but if you don't claim your stuff, I think it just rolls over into a new stake in 7 days. But I could be wrong. So it could, it's probably going to keep the same contract address and stuff. But don't hold me to that, right? But obviously, if they do make another token, it's just going to sit there until it's claimed, anyways. So it'll have its underlying value regardless. So worst case, right?
For sure. Bright Light Smart has added 2 addresses in consolidation and staked it all in the PHUX WPLS pool. That's what you do. Stizzy says, where do I check? Fatty.io /mint.
That's right.
And Christopher, you have to go to Deck Screener and add the contract address. Go put PHUX into the Deck Screener, and it'll be on the right-hand side. That's where I found it.
Or you can go to Fatty, and you can go to the Pulse Chain Markets tab.
Okay, that's
and then you click the little MetaMask Fox on whatever you want, and then it'll just add it right to your wallet, just like that.
Awesome. Oh, good. Stizzy, he did claim. All right, he figured it out. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, ex-mining handler. No day off for Dylan.
No, never sleep. No, sir.
Well, hey, it's what happens when you guys got so many protocols you're working on. Is there you guys got anything else that you're brewing?
Well, the things that we're coming out with next would be Fiat, right? Which the devs say that can launch pretty easily at any given moment. But obviously, it's not going to launch at any moment, right? It's going to be in a couple of weeks. Okay. The Fame stuff has been set off to audit, so that'll shortly follow after Fiat launches. So we'll probably see Fiat launch before Fame, and then you'll obviously see Fame launch. So I think
Doesn't
after
Fiat
that,
already have something up and running?
yeah. So Fiat, the token is live and trading at the moment, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
Fiat is up, I think, around 3x from the sacrifices, like the worst sacrifice rate that you could have gotten, which was like 12 cents. So it's up around like 2.5 to 3x, or right around there. So Fiat guys are doing really well.
Yeah, we heard.
eFiat is starting to run up again, which is very cool. I'm really glad to see that. I think a lot of that has to do with the Fiat Maxi pool on PHUX, because there is a portion of that pool that is eFiat, right? So there is an arbitrage across the bridge. I was
If
doing
I
that.
would have known that, if I would have known that, I would have been all over it.
Yes, it's quite funny. Some of the guys and some of the telegrams were like, yeah, eFiat is just it's worthless now.
I
Nobody
was
wants
one
to
of
get
those
it.
guys. I pretty much thought it was dead.
And it's got a nice little rounding bottom, very
Yeah,
beautiful. Yeah,
I have to admit, he goes, "Thank you for my very or quite large airdrop," and I was like, "Well, that was beautiful."
yeah,
And I thought it was just something for you guys to like a marketing tool or marketing ploy to keep Fiat in the eyes of the community. And
right
I was
on.
like, it was a very smart move, and you guys were the first ones to really. During the bear market, to give us a taste again of blood, it's like got a
Yes.
taste. And you're like, oh man, we're back, and then just kind of fizzled away just because Pulse Chain launched. And
Yep.
hey, smart
Yep.
idea to put it into the pool.
Yep. Yeah. Everything on. Unfortunately, when Pulse Chain launched, if you guys haven't noticed, which a lot of you are fixated on Pulse Chain at the moment, which is fine. But a lot of the things on the ETH side have been depressed. Hedron is depressed on the ETH side. On the ETH side, Icosa is depressed. All the Maxi stuff is depressed on the ETH side. Obviously, eFiat was, right? eHex, as we all know, right? We've been all watching that fiasco unfold. What else? The Pulse Doge guys, the ASIC, the Pulse Bitcoin, which I think that might have also been from the founder just completely, not even wanting to, further its growth or anything or support it anymore on the ETH side. Unfortunate, but is what it is, I guess. So yeah, the focus right now is on Pulse Chain, and we had a little bit of Pulse Chain or Pulse X FUD this morning. I don't know if you saw, Randy.
Yeah, I took advantage.
There you go.
Yo, whenever you guys decide to cry, Randy's like, "This is the time to buy."
Fair enough. Yes.
Dude,
Uh,
man, love it.
I haven't moved my greedy little fingers to press the buy button yet, sir. I just
Well,
can't.
you're right to do that because the full moon will be here in 4 days, and that's going to be the peak of the madness. You have about 5 days after the full moon to get your butt in there and start buying.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Because then we're moving into the new moon, and new moon is generally green candles. So just know that full moon red candles, new moon green candles. Put the moon cycle on your phone and come back to me in 6 months and say, Randy, you were right again. It's
Roger
like
that. All right.
it does. I mean, I'm a former psych nurse, and the moon cycles do something to our psyche, especially the full moon. People act stupid on the full moon. They drive like maniacs. They end up in my psych units. A lot of crazy shit, man. So if you got a weak mind at that moment, you're having a couple issues. Full moon comes. Watch out. I hated working on full moons, man. I would do everything I could not to work on a full moon.
Really? It's that bad? Read that noticeable, huh?
Talk to cops. Talk to the emergency room staff. They'll tell you. Little. If you have do you have any kids?
I do not have any kids, sir.
You don't have any kids. Okay, when you do have a child, pay attention to full moons. You
Okay.
will see.
Yeah.
This is human psyche. The pole of the moon or whatever it is, it's out there. Where it could be a space station. I don't know what it is, but the pull of it on us causes something to the chemicals in our brain. I don't know exactly what it is, but it does something.
Interesting.
Yeah, went down a little bit of a conspiracy theory hole there, but
Nothing wrong
hey,
with
they
that.
actually have a moon cycle indicator on TradingView.
You know, has that ever been back tested?
Look at
Like, no.
yeah, of course it does. Do you know Waters Above?
Nope.
My good buddy Waters Above. Oh my God, man, you're missing out. Start watching his numerology and his series. His stuff is amazing. He has like 30,000 people in his Patreon that follow him, and he does numerology and all the full moon stuff, cycles, and that kind of stuff. He's more like me. I don't follow TA. I follow cycles, whether it's the moon cycle or the Jewish holiday cycle, or the seasons, all that kind of stuff. And he's been on the money so many times. Oh, he's just so ridiculously good, and he's the one that got me into the moon cycles.
Roger that. Right on.
Yeah. Sorry, we went down that road.
Okay,
we just spelled full moon with a PH. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, full moon, guys.
Full moon. So it's been a rough day. Richard, he fudded his own coin today. I can't believe he didn't see it before he did it. These are the kind of things you got to be careful with being a founder. He knows these things. Everything that you type, you have to read it 10 times before you click send. And then he ended up deleting the tweet from what I see and replacing it with
he deleted
single-sided stake. He decided, he deleted 5 tweets.
He deleted 5 tweets, yes.
So maybe in the future, when the devs have the time, they'll look at single-sided staking. That made me happy because I'm really big in 9inch because they're going to have single-sided staking at launch. So that's very bullish for 9inch, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys have for single-sided staking. I see what you have for pools, but we'll see. I know you guys have already cornered the market on that. Nobody else is coming near that. that everyone else is going to be late to the party. You're already first. What's that thing? The first one.
First movers advantage, sir.
First movers advantage, and also the GMX play is the first movers advantage. So you guys are. Anything else will be just icing on the cake, but you guys got the 2 most important things in the whole DeFi space set.
Yeah, I can't stress enough how valuable just having the stablecoin pool alone, right, is for this chain. Being able to, let's put it this way: if you go on PulseX right now, right, and I go to trade on V1, and I want to trade stablecoins at the moment, like if I want to go between them, because Richard for some reason changed the pools like he did the other day, where he removed liquidity for I think it was ETH, wrap Bitcoin. He removed liquidity for the incentive token rewards for ETH, wrap Bitcoin, USDT, USDC, right, and then kind of consolidated it into DAI. If you go from, let's say,
Richard loves DAI, man. DAI is his baby.
Yes, it is. We go from USDC to DAI, or let's go DAI to USDC because it's more liquid, right? We just do even 100K, or let's do 500K, right? You eat still $42,000 worth of slippage just transacting through those 2 from one stablecoin to the other, man. And you go to PHUX and you do the same swap. I mean, it's actually surprising how negligible it is. We'll go from DAI to USDC, bam, and 500K, right?
Yeah.
And you literally get $555,555 in USDC back. So
what? That's pretty cool, man. Just because the USDC is never exact, or if it's $1, it stays there for half a second.
Yeah, because the other day, when the pools did change, somebody actually went to the stablecoin pools and swapped their USDC or USDT, and they swapped it for DAI, right? So now there is an abundance of USDT and USDC on the pool, and there's a deficit of DAI at the moment, right? So
Okay.
if you have USDT or USDC, you can swap it for USDC with a small premium, right? So you can get more stable coins back from just doing this swap here. So there's a little bit of an arbitrage going on at the moment if you have USDC or USDT. So that's pretty wonderful. And the other way that you can get out of these stable coins would be off chain, right? So you have to go over the bridge, which costs 30 basis points, right? Going off and then trading on Uniswap, and then another 30 basis points going back on the bridge.
Well, you got to pay to get off too. You got to pay the Ethereum fee to get off. Yeah.
Precisely. Yeah. So yeah, not only do you have to pay the gas fee, you have to pay the bridge fee, then you pay the Uniswap fee, and then the ETH fee again. Okay. And then you pay the ETH fee to send it back to the bridge, and then the bridge fee again, right? You're getting chopped up, man.
I'll try using, I haven't done it yet, but Portal X might be the answer for that. It'll save a lot of fees.
Right on. Actually, I haven't even tried that yet. So that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's an option for us. I tried to use it the other day, and there was an issue. It's saying it didn't recognize the tokens from Pulse Chain yet.
Okay, interesting.
The one I was trying to do WETH. I was trying to do WETH back to ETH, and I wanted to see if it would work for me. And it didn't recognize WTH and Pulse Chain yet. So,
well,
maybe that's coming. It was like the first day it launched. So,
yeah,
you know how it is on the first day.
Yes.
Look at the Pulse Chain bridge. It was a mistake, everybody. It was a mistake.
No, yeah. Look at PulseX. Oh my god. Like fuck.
Yo, when people come to me like, oh my god, it's been like a running disaster on Pulse Chain, PulseX. I'm like, maybe by design. I don't know.
Somebody somewhere said software is hard. So
yeah. I'm not saying Richard did it on purpose.
A simple audit probably would have caught that. Here we are. It's still most of the majority is still on V1. It's still getting all that buy and burn. But
which is pretty amazing. I mean, that's why I went and doubled my bag of PulseX today.
Really? Oh, okay.
I went and doubled my bag because of the massive amount of FUD, and it's the full moon cycle. So I say, okay, I know how Pulse Chain and Richard products tend to, after the dump, there's usually a nice green candle. We'll see what happens, but I didn't want to miss it. So I said, okay, I'll get a little bit early on this one. I can't believe the FUD's going to get much worse than it got today. So this might be the maximum of the FUD. That's how I felt. That's why I went back in, and I'm not trading. I'm just increasing my bag with new money. So unlike what I would do in the past, I used to be a really, really good buy the rumor, sell the news trader. That's how I did crypto for years.
Right on.
Loved it. I didn't put any new money into crypto from 2016 all the way up until right before the Pulse Chain launch. None. No new money, because all I did was buy the rumor, sell the news events. And it was fabulous. But Hex changed my life, so I didn't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I got lazy. but when I saw Pulse Chain do like this and PulseX do like this, I started saying, you know what? Maybe it's time to start putting some new money in. And also I bought Fiat. I'm above and beyond my sacrifice. And like things like Port Pleb and a couple other tokens I wanted to get on the Pulse Chain side. So that required new money. I didn't want to sell my Pulse and PulseX to do that. And now we got another token that I got to think about. It's PHUX. Got Fame coming. Oh, goodness, man. I promised myself I'd never do this again, where I'd have 30 tokens.
It's just funny how you come back full circle, man,
Man, I was down to like 3. And then it started with Hedron. And then we got Icosa and Maximus DAO. And I was like, oh, man, just the bag's getting bigger and bigger and bigger again. And now that Pulse Chain's here, it's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
It's kind of funny because it's all still pretty much one bet, in my opinion. It's still all going to go up together. Some might outperform others, but generally speaking, being in the ecosystem, if Pulse Chain succeeds, all of it will probably succeed very well, right? Obviously, the further out on the risk curve, the less starting valuations. Obviously, those will probably perform a little bit better, right? But just generally speaking, if Pulse does well, all this other stuff will do really well as well. That's what I think.
Yeah,
So
it's going to pull it all up. I think Pulse is going to do just fine. I did pick about 10% of the what I spent today. I picked it up from Pulse Chain too. It wasn't down that much. It's only down like 4%.
yeah,
When I bought the Pulse X, it was down 14%. Like, what the hell? What's wrong with people?
there was a very large.
Ship.
There was a very large sacrificer that let go of their position today. So I think that contributed to it.
Down 60 something percent, and they let it go.
I mean,
I wouldn't give any money to that person. They're like that Little Rascals meme where throwing the money out the window.
I mean, yeah, somebody sold a lot today, and more power to them. Hey,
unless it was a project that had a sacrifice, and they had the money.
No, yeah, it wasn't a project. Nope.
No,
it was not a project. No.
Stizzy says, you got me into moon cycles, and my friends think I'm crazy because I don't know how to explain it. I got to do some research, that's all. And send them to do some research as well. There you go. Full moon.
It's interesting. Today on PHUX, we had the revenue share rewards come out for people that were staked for that first week for the VE PHUX. So that is now active, and you get your rewards in the Prime PHUX pool token, right? And then you also get your rewards in the PHUX token. So that's pretty cool. Claim that today. I also did a little bit of voting on these pools. There's 2 new pools on PHUX now. If you haven't noticed, the APYs are pretty high for those pools. I believe it was the native comp is a new one for this week. The pulsing for Fiat is a new one for this week, and that one's at 363% APY or APR on the low side, right? So it's 900% on the high side, that's pretty good. And
that's pretty good. You say that so like with humble. Yeah, you're like, I'm so humble about this. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good, man.
It's great.
And then, oh my God, I just noticed Polly wants a bootstrap. That is at 4,000%.
What is Polly wants a bootstrap?
It's P Poly, P Hedron, P Icosa, and Bridge Stable.
No way.
Yeah, so you guys that want PHUX, Polly wants a bootstrap. That is a very attractive pool at the moment.
Yeah, but the problem is I've got all my Hedron and all my what's it called?
Randy's about to get into 5 more coins, guys.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I've got all my stuff staked, and it's all staked for a long period because I don't know if you stake Icosa, but when I was doing my staked Icosa, I'm a whale on Icosa.
Right on.
Mine are staked like 300 days, 180 days, that like really far out.
Yeah.
So I can't do anything about it, or else I'd be all over that for sure. And I used to have a ton of Poly. It's actually my mom's Poly, but we ended up getting rid of that because it wasn't performing very well. But
what's funny is these pools, since they aren't very liquid, I would imagine on Pulse Chain, what you'll probably see is people that don't have these tokens are going to start buying them to try and get in on the pool. And so, these tokens will probably have a nice little speculative run up, probably to get into the PHUX liquidity farms, which, hey, if you guys
kind of makes sense. Because PHUX right now is kind of up and to the right.
Yeah, it is yes.
It's doing pretty well. It's almost a penny.
Well, yeah, which is funny because it's being given away for free. It's just doing its thing. It's doing really well. It's got lots of volume, so it's accruing fees. The revenue sharing is attractive for people. They really like that. These APYs and these pools that a lot of people in the community are really fond of, that we just don't have on PulseX. People are really enjoying that, I guess, right? And they're enjoying the voting that they are able to be a part of, right? And to kind of choose which pools get what. Like today, I voted for, I think, 4 different pools. I voted for, a little bit of Bridge Stable because I am very much a fan of the stablecoin pool. A little bit of Fiat Maxi.
Gotta admit, the stablecoin pool is such an easy play.
Oh yeah, easy. The
risk is pretty low. The only risk you have is having wrapped coins in there. That's the only risk.
Yeah, the bridge risk, and which I mean, hey, if the bridge goes down, we have much bigger problems to worry about. Like that is 150 or 140 $140 million that's gone like that. That is not good. So
no, I know. R8 Hex Mining Hodler says R8 deleted tweet right when PHUX phase 2 drops were going on. Dylan called it out.
Is that true? Really? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, this morning. Jesus, man.
Richard's like listening to you guys closely. Richard's like me. He's a very competitive guy, and every time you guys launch something, he seems to make a comment.
It's pretty weird. We've noticed it. It is very interesting. We like the past 5 Twitter Spaces that Buck and I have done. He's mentioned something along the lines around, it being correlated in some way, right? I think we noticed it first with the EHEX PHEX debate, right? Because he went off on a rant, and then we did it again for, and that was during the actual Twitter Space, and then when the Godwell thing happened, I think he might have said something else during the Twitter Space, and then at that point we're like, okay, all right, something's up here. What's going on? And then we had. I think PHUX had launched or something along those lines. And then all of a sudden, now we're getting an auto router, which nobody had known that we were ever going to get anything like that from Richard, right? It just so happens that he announced it while we were announcing PHUX. It's just, these coincidences are, they're not rare. They're pretty correlated, I would say. So, yes, it is very interesting.
I've always thought this about Richard is that he can't come in and participate, but he sits there in his throne and he watches and listens to us all. No doubt in my mind. I get this live stream right now. We got about 159 concurrent users, but by the end of the day tomorrow, it'll have between 2,000 and 3,000 views.
Right on.
And I'm pretty sure RH is one of them. He follows RH number 1, me, because I'm the first. I'm the original, the OIG gangster. And then RH number 2, I got him by like 5 years, so I'm first. and then he watches my stuff tomorrow or in the morning when he wakes up.
There you go. I wouldn't doubt it. It's rumored that he has alt accounts, and that's probably what he's listening to on our Twitter Spaces, but we have yet to confirm this. So
yeah, I still have 3 Twitter accounts, even though I lost my main one. That's how I was able to come back so quick with a nice fat account, because I had a secondary for my tour company.
Right on.
And I just changed the name, and it worked out great. Thank God, man, or else I would have been starting from scratch again. And I would have just given up on Twitter. I would have said, screw this. Hey, Motley's here.
What's up, Molly?
Mr. Causing Troubles on Twitter. I like Randy. I'm like Randy. I'm buying PLS and looking hard at PLSX again for DCA. Money make the world go round. That's right.
I just can't move my finger yet.
I hear you. Hey, if you're gonna follow like I normally would do, there's no way I would buy so early in a full moon. No way. I would wait towards. So we've got 4 more days. I would wait at least till 5 days from now to buy. But yeah, you're doing good. Dylan doesn't want to spill the beans. Motley's the one that got me into Fiat from the beginning.
Right on.
He didn't. I don't think he messaged me directly, but I think he said something somewhere. Maybe in maybe like we used to do the Friday shows of Cabana every Friday, and maybe in the green room he said something about the Fiat sack, and immediately when I got off, I went in and made sure I got in because I got there and I think it's the last day during the original Fiat sack.
You know, I think that Friday we did that stream. I think that was one of the first days that we opened that PH sack, if I'm not mistaken, or that Fiat sack, if I'm not mistaken.
That one didn't last long, if I remember correctly.
Say that again.
It was a very short stake or sack.
Oh yeah, no, 5 days, and it was done. Yep.
Yeah, I
And
got it the last day.
funny story, Motley FOMO'd because he was in voice chat and he heard Buck talk, and then Buck was just going over what Fiat was doing, the DeFi bank, revenue sharing. We're gonna corner the market on Pulse Chain, all that stuff, right? And it's like 5 or 10 minutes of Buck talking and Motley asking questions. He's like, all right, I'm in. That's it.
What got me interested about what you're listening, I'll say something about Buck. Even though I usually have a problem with somebody who doesn't show their face.
Okay,
but
fair enough.
When I listen to Buck talk, he speaks my language.
Okay.
I come from the world of gold. Even though he's a hedge fund guy, the world of gold touches that a little bit. So I used to be on the phone a lot or in emails and stuff with people like Buck. So when he says the words that he says, I know he's not bullshitting. These guys don't bullshit. They're here to win. That's the difference between a hedge fund guy and maybe a guy who works in a family office or something like that. Hedge fund guys are cutthroat. They want to succeed. They're alphas. There's nothing that they don't want to just sit on their laurels and just pay their bills with their annual 1.5%. No, he wants to destroy things, build things, win things, and that's why I like the PH whole ecosystem. I mean, I stacked for it all, and it's like the only other ecosystem I ever did that with was RH, because he's got a lot of the similar traits, even though him and Buck don't talk the same game, not one bit, because RH is more, he's more like he comes from the street, right? he's got a little bit more ghetto in him.
Yeah, he's got the black set, he's got the flow down thing going on.
I love when we got ghetto RH coming out and he's talking to some black guys from the inner city. Like I grew up in the inner city as well, and when he starts talking to them, he starts getting the accent and stuff. I'm like, RH, bro, quit that shit.
Yeah, relax, dude. Come on.
that makes me laugh every time he does that, because I'm from the inner city too, and it's like I never even spoke like that once, and I grew up in the hood.
Yeah.
My school was like 10% white, right?
Right on, yeah.
School.
Yep. Mostly Hispanic, and then white, and then black. Yep.
Yeah, man. What the hell? I'm like, RH, bro, come on. He's really good at it, though. He's a chameleon. Any community he wants to be part of, he could fit in. But I see Buck, and I respect Buck. I like the way he presents himself. I like the way he presents the products. I'm glad that he's got you on board as like the community face, where you get to talk to everybody. I don't know. I never asked you, how did you meet Buck? How did you guys, because he's in freaking Australia.
Interesting.
I mean, how did you guys come together?
Yeah. So way back when, I was a moderator for Richard Hart. I still am, right, in hex trading. Okay. And that's where I spent a lot of my time. Okay. On Telegram. And Buck was one of the fudsters that used to come into the chats, right? And he was very reasonable about what he said. Okay. And I appreciated what he was saying, although I didn't believe it at the time, right? This was near when we were starting the bull run. Okay. And we were, breaking all-time highs, back in June of 2021, things were looking really good. And Buck was like a little voice of reason, like, hey guys, it's getting a little frothy, it might be, it might be a little, we're getting a little too bullish. Might be time to sell, kind of things, and he got more he kept getting banned, right? And I thought that was the most annoying thing ever. So, I had become a moderator to stop things like that from happening, because there was this guy in the chats. I'm sure all of you have heard of him, Gunther. He used to ban everybody, like, and it was the most annoying shit, right? Like they would say like something, a modicum of like anything reasonable, and they would get banned. And I thought that was the most annoying shit ever. So, I was a moderator going and unbanning these guys so that there was discourse and it's not all just, fucking, we're going to the moon and we're never looking back, so I was unbanning Buck, and I was trying to keep him around, and then he noticed that and he invited me to the back rooms, and so I got to hang out with them a lot more. It was a very small group of us, about I would say 25 people, right? And it was this it was this chat called Suicide Hotline.
Really?
Yes, and it was dedicated to Dan Emmons.
Oh, really?
Yes,
I couldn't stand that guy, man. Is
he
he
was
still
in the
around?
chat. Yes, he was in the chat, and so that's where that's where I got to know Buck. I got to know a guy named Moritz. I don't know if you've ever heard of Moritz. He was a German. Anyways, and got to grow fond of Buck. I learned a lot of stuff from Buck in those private chats. And push comes to shove, Richard has a blanket ban for Buck on all chats. So at this point, I can't unban him anymore, right? Like literally, I have a picture of this, and Richard's like, I have banned buttfuck CFA from all chats. I think I got him from everything, and like, I take a picture of that and I send it to him, and he's like, it's a badge of honor now, right? And then shortly thereafter, we made this group called the Cantillon Insiders, and invited a bunch of notable people. And then Buck came out in like February of 2022 and said, "Hey, I'm forking Aave," and we all kind of got on his ass. We're like, "What do you mean you're forking Aave? What, you're taking away from the Hex ecosystem? All that shit, right?" We're all giving this shit, right? And then he explained it. He was rational about it, and he's like, "Listen, dickheads, listen to what I'm saying. This is valuable, you know." And I listened to him, and I was like, "Wow, I want to help you with this in any way that I can." It started off as a joke. Oh, Dylan will stream for you, oh, Dylan will help you, right? And then I was like, yeah, why not? Sure, I'll help you. Yeah, it's not gonna be for free, but I'll help you. And
Nice.
here we are. So,
oh, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, so we had like a year of rapport in Telegram chats, and then here we are.
That always annoys me when people write me and they're like, Randy, how? Because I worked with over 40 projects going back to 2016.
Really, that's a lot, man.
Yeah, man. I did a
projects.
lot. And people always ask me like, "Oh, Randy, how do you get involved with projects?" Well, let me tell you how it happens. Exactly what you did. That's how I did it. I would just be part of groups, and some people would see my skill set.
Yeah.
They would see what I would do on social media, writing. I used to write a lot of articles. That was my favorite thing to do. I loved writing articles.
Yeah.
And I was pretty big on Steemit, Steemit.com, which was a social media platform where you earn Steam. And I was killing it over there. And my articles would get tons and tons of views, and they would get listed on Google search. They would, they'd always be in the front page. So I was the first one to write articles about ETHLend, which became Aave.
Yeah.
And because I met the team in Portugal at Steamfest, and they asked me to write an article for them. I said, sure. And then I went and not sacked, but I did the ICO.
Yeah, the ICO, yeah.
And did very, very well. It was my first 10x ICO. So
Yes.
It went very well for me. And when I saw that you guys were also doing Aave, which used to be called ETHLend, I was like, okay, 2 times the charm. let's do it, man.
And what's funny is I just so happened to start like creating rapport with a lot of notable people in the community, because I wanted to launch an exchange. Like, myself, I wanted to get the licensing for Florida, and do some sort of small time exchange, right? And then I got picked up by Kinetic's team, and that fell apart, and then I had just I'm known by all these guys, and then Buck suddenly comes and is like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm like, well, listen, I can help you out because everybody knows who I am and everybody kind of respects what I have to say, and so hey, how can I help you? And that's how it started, man. So
read the comment.
hedge fund manager who plays golf and ski slopes and gives a yes, Buck is skiing right now in the mountains. He's having a jolly time.
That's so freaking funny, man.
But,
oh, good. There was another one I wanted to show you. Oh man, yeah. They're asking if he's an American. Yeah, he's an American living in Australia.
Yep. Lives in Australia. Yep. Rumored, right? Hey.
Yeah, that's what he says. Oh, okay. Crypto says, what is the best thing to do with a PHUX once you receive the airdrop?
That's great. That's a great question, sir. So you can sell it, right? If you don't, you can sell it, right? That's one thing that you can do. You can stake it to get a share of the revenue generated from the platform, which means you need to go to the Prime PHUX pool, which is the second one on the site, right? You go in there, you provide liquidity for that pool, and then you go to here. I can show you the. I'll present to you. How about that? Hold on. Let's see here. Share screen. And we'll do window, PHUX, Google Chrome. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's the screen that we need to see here. Can you see it?
Yep. Oh, there we go.
There you go. All right. So this is the landing page, right? You go to phux.io. And then now you have some PHUX. You don't know what to do with it, right? So you can go here. You can sell it at the swap page, okay? Or you can go to the Prime PHUX pool. And then you're going to have to provide the liquidity, okay? Which you would go here to add liquidity. And then actually, I'll just do it right now. How about that? And then we'll do, let's do 500 or let's do 500 PHUX. I don't want to use all of it because I still need to make videos. And you can do one side, okay? And obviously, you incur a little bit of slippage because it's going to want to sell that for Pulse, okay, to get the other side, right? And we're going to do, yep, looks good for me. $3 of PHUX I'm adding. And this is a Docs wallet. I don't care if you track it, right? It's labeled as 40 ETH Hexastani trading course. It's a callback to one of the biggest fudsters in the community, a guy named Ace. His @ was Fudge Pack. And
you sure attract them.
Yeah, and that guy is a very interesting character. Okay, let me tell you.
The Basement Brothers.
Now that you have provided this liquidity, you're going to want to go to lock LP for VE-PHUX. And this is how you can start voting on the different liquidity pools, on which distribution you want. So if you're in the stablecoin pool or the Fiat Maxi pool or even the Hedron or the Maximus stuff, right? You can allocate your voting power to up the APY for those particular pools, right? So now we're going to lock it. And mine is already locked for a year. Now, if you have a shorter stake, so let's say you did your first stake for like 2 weeks, okay, because you just wanted to see what it would do, all right, which is fine, okay. When you go and lock up this second batch, you're basically adding to the stake, okay? So you can select the same amount of time. You can't select less, or you can extend the time that the whole thing is staked for, right? So I'm going to match the year-long one. If I do 1 year, it's just going to match the year-long one because it's already maxed out for that original pile, right? So all you can do is add, okay? So keep that in mind. If you are staking max length, and you want to do some sort of ladder, you're going to have to distribute it in different wallets, which is not going to be advantageous for you if you're trying to get the bonus, which I haven't mentioned yet, but the bonus for providing liquidity, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But so We'll do the max prime PHUX, which is the liquidity token, right? And we're going to stake that. And we're going to approve it for locking, all that jazz. And MetaMask is going to load, use default. And we're going to go to aggressive always, unless you want to wait there for 5 minutes. Because, that always seems to happen when you press market.
I've heard a couple people say that their transactions failed doing this, so always press aggressive.
Oh yeah, always, no matter what. I mean, it's not like we're on ETH, right? It's not like
Right.
you're hemorrhaging money by pressing aggressive. You know what I mean?
Ends up being like 4 cents.
Yeah, like come on, pay the extra fee, cheap guys. And then we're gonna confirm that, and it should go through, and then you'll be able to go vote on stuff.
And then it immediately starts earning more PHUX too, right? Just like every other pool.
So the way the feed revenue sharing model works is it's lagging. So you're gonna have to wait till the next epoch comes before you can start seeing something. Okay. So it's kind of like payroll at a company, right?
And how long does the epoch last? Do you know?
7 days, a week.
Okay. So if you unstake early, you're gonna lose all of your gains.
Yes. So yeah, if you like picked a random day or something and you unstake early, I'm not actually certain what exactly happens at that point. Maybe you only get a certain amount of those fees that you can claim. Not 100% sure. So, but I can definitely ask for you. So now, this is for last period that I had voted for the stablecoin pool, but now we can vote for whatever we want. So let's just do.
You know what I'm going to get in there? I'm going to get the 9-inch, the PLD, and the PP. We're gonna have the and the BBC token. We're gonna have the 9-inch squad on there soon.
There you go.
That gets loaded in.
Yeah, bring it over, man. Shoot.
I'll get the whole squad behind that. They'll be all slapping the 9-inch out.
Yeah, I actually there's a couple of coins that one is already launched and another one will be launching. I'm sure you've heard of it, the Helgo coin.
Yeah.
I went and DM'd one of those guys and I was like, hey, listen, why don't you come over here, right? If it's liquid enough, I don't see why it wouldn't be on one of these pools, because Buck has been very vocal about advocating for these guys and helping them out, right? Because it obviously helps the platform. The more things that are on here, the higher the TVL is. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. So let's go.
And what'll happen is that outsiders who are not in Pulse Chain will start seeing this, and they're going to want to participate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the more bells and whistles that are here, the more cool shit that they can do, the more that they're going to do it naturally, right?
Absolutely.
Like that's just naturally what's going to happen, guys.
It says vote pending 50% for Fiat Maxi.
Yep. So I just voted 50% of my VE PHUX to Fiat Maxi because I really like Fiat, right? And then I'm going to do.
So that could possibly increase the percentage rate of the pool. Is that what that does?
Correct. Yeah. So that'll increase the distribution of the PHUX for that particular pool. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. Yeah. All right. I like that.
I'll do another pool here that I kind of like. Let's do the pulsing for Fiat pool. Let's do 10% to that pool. Can't go wrong with Fiat. Got to give it love,
Right.
And then I'll do another pool here. The native pool, which is that is ETH, Bitcoin, Pulse Chain, USDC, USDT, and DAI, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a pretty nice pool. The stables will keep it pretty stable.
Native comp. So it is actually, yes, I was right. So ETH, Pulse, Bitcoin, and all the stables.
What's the percentage right now on that one?
So the percentage is 0.85%. And I think that pool is actually pretty high on its PHUX rewards, if I'm not mistaken. Native comp, yeah, it's at 300% on the top end and for the low end, which is it's not bad, man.
No, not
and
bad.
The liquidity is pretty low, so I'm going to allocate a little bit more voting power to this particular pool.
All right.
Give it some love. Vote. There we go. Oh, what'd I do? I pressed the wrong button here.
And you guys are really getting me excited about DeFi. This next cycle is going to be nuts for us. All of us who really care about this stuff.
You know,
I got a question here. I want to put it in here for you so you can read it.
Go ahead.
So you can respond, because I respect this gentleman's opinion. Concentric Crypto. He said, not a big LP fan. IL concerns me. I don't know what IL is. The RH Maxi pool looks promising and contemplating on doing this pool. What are your thoughts on LP risk? And is there a Zappin to create the LP? Yeah, there is a Zappin. I mean, Zappin is in, like, you could take one product like Pulse Chain and it'll automatically disperse among all the RH products.
So
if you consider that a Zappin.
IL, I think he's referring to impermanent loss.
Okay. Yes.
The Zap, don't know what that means. But you know, if you're okay, the way this RH Maxi pool is set up, you know, it's 40% Pulse. Okay, 25% of it is Pulse X. Right. It's basically one bet on the ecosystem regarding Richard. Right. So if you're worried about, like, say, incentive token continuing to dump, only 5 of that is going to be incentive token, right? So a majority of your holdings will still be in Pulse. You know, Raptex is only 10% if you think that that's going to continue to dump. You know, it's only going to be 10% of your liquidity position. You know what I mean? Whereas if this was, say, I don't know, versus 50-50 with a shitcoin of your choosing, right? You end up with something that's completely worthless, right? Whereas this is like a nice little index that you can have that is relatively, you know, distributed in that RH Maxi pool. Okay. Now, if you don't like the distribution model of this pool, you can make your own, right? And other people can participate in it. And if the TVL grows enough, it could end up on the one of the farms, right? Like pulsing for Fiat was not made by the team or anything like that, right? That was from the community, okay? And it grew to a sizable portion, and it was then supported by the you know, by the team, right? And now it is eligible for PHUX. So, you know, it is roughly you know, kind of a one bet index on the ecosystem. You know, if you're here, this is probably why you're here in the first place. The impermanent loss risk is, I guess you could say, less impactful because it is a smaller portion of the pool. But yes, it is still there. It still exists. And yes, you know, have to take that into account.
See, that's what I thought it was. That means you start with one asset and hit a button in the depth. Does all the transaction. Yes, that's exactly what happens, because that's what I did. I did Pulse and Pulse X, and it bought the P hex for me, or actually it changed my Pulse to WPLS, right? Because I came in with regular Pulse.
Right on. Yep.
All right. And also, okay, be forewarned, when you do take some out, it's going to come out as WPLS and you're not going to see it in your wallet. It is going to, if it's the first time you've had to deal with WPLS, it will make your heart rate go up a little bit.
Like, oh shit,
what happened?
What did I do? That moment is always scary, sir.
Yes, it is. But you have to get the contract address for WPLS and put it in there.
Yep. So, yes, and you can pull it out as all of them, you know, when you go and remove this liquidity, or you can just literally pull it out all at once, like or all in one thing, like Randy was saying. But yes, when you go in, you can come in with you know, just Hex, or just Pulse, or just Ink if you really wanted to. And what it'll do basically is, you know, sell that portion to get all of the other ones to then insert it into the liquidity. So, yes.
Interesting.
Hopefully that fulfills your question, sir.
All right. I think I'm going to participate in the Prime PHUX one. And I know it doesn't pay as much as the others, but I want some of those Prime tokens.
There you go. Yeah, you got to get them votes, man. You know?
Exactly. Hey. All right, brother. Well, appreciate you coming out tonight and updating everybody. Thank you, Telbuck. Thank you for the airdrop. I don't care how small it was. People come, oh my God, it wasn't very much. Shut up. You just got free money. What?
Yeah.
I don't get
Like,
it, man.
you know what's funny? Did you ever free claim Hex?
Free claim. No, I
Yeah.
never free claimed. I just got a bunch of referrals.
You know what's funny? I free and claim my Hex on day 2 of the Hex contract going live. Okay. And it wasn't much. It was like for this one wallet, it was like 13,000 Hex or something like that, right? And I'll tell you what, at the top, that free claim was worth pretty much
$8,000.
what
A little over 8,000.
what Bitcoin was worth. Actually, I think it was double what Bitcoin was worth when I free claimed it.
Isn't that's wild?
Yes, isn't that crazy? Like, just think
Yeah,
about that for a second.
yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't worth a Bitcoin or however much it was at the top, but at the time, it was worth double the value that I actually used to free claim it, which
You
was
guys don't want to know how much I got in Hex and referrals.
yes, I've heard some stories. A lot of people made really good money on referrals, man.
Wow. It was bonkers. Yes, it was good times. But Dylan, thank you so much. Everybody, if you're not using PHUX yet, check it out. Yes, some people are going to argue, oh, it hurts the PLSX. No, this is a little bit different. It's a different thing. It's a different animal. But I love competition. I love seeing different things. I am not an RH maxi at all. I am whatever works maxi, and I'm all about pulse chain and what happens on pulse chain, and that includes having your hacks and PHUX and your 9-inch and loan and all different projects, all the protocols. And I think RH wants us to go out there and build. He wants us to build pulse chain up. He doesn't want to do it. 3-letter agencies are watching, so it's better that we diversify amongst the founders.
Not for nothing, but do you ever see a world where Richard makes a Hedron farm on PulseX or
No
a
way.
Maximus farm on PulseX?
No.
Or a Poly farm on PulseX?
No.
Like, hey, I know a lot of you. I can guarantee you, if you're in Hex, you have Hedron. Some of you guys have Maximus stuff, right? You guys have Icosa probably. Okay, right? Well, hey, look, your stuff is being supported here. Okay,
Yeah.
it's going in TVL. It's very flush, right? It's beneficial for you guys to make sure that your coins live on. And hey, these guys were supporting it, so take advantage, enjoy, and keep the ball rolling, right?
Don't panic because I moved my PLSX, so I got fucks on fucks. Hey, I was one of them. Same thing happened to me. I didn't get the first round. Either did my whole Patreon. Everyone missed out because I've been preaching for months to immediately take your coins and move them off. And
yeah, and the devs did it that way just because otherwise it would have been from 34,000 wallets to like over 100,000 wallets or some shit, like some retardedly high number, right? And then it's just completely diluted between everybody. So that's why the devs did it that way. So
all right, cheers everybody.
Thanks, Randy.
All right, Dylan.
Appreciate you having me on.
All right,
have a good night, sir.